Have you ever been stuck in an elevator with a mime who wouldn't break character? I was already running late for the most important job interview of my life when I rushed into the elevator at the Marriott downtown, 23rd floor, marketing director position, the kind of salary that would finally let me move out of my studio apartment with a suspicious ceiling stain. Someone slipped in just as the doors were closing. I glanced up from my phone to see a full-on mime, white face paint, black beret, striped shirt, the works. He even had those white gloves and suspenders. My first thought was that the hotel must be hosting some kind of performance art convention. He pressed the button for the 15th floor with an exaggerated flourish, then pretended to tip an invisible hat at me. I gave him a polite nod and went back to reviewing my interview notes. Just 11 floors until I could escape this awkwardness. The elevator lurched to a stop at floor 7, then nothing. The doors didn't open. The floor display went dark. After about 30 seconds, I pressed the emergency button. A crackling voice came through. We're aware of the power issue. Maintenance is on it. Should be about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. My interview was in 15. I immediately called the company's HR department, pacing the small space while explaining my situation. The mime watched me with exaggerated concern, placing his hand over his heart and wiping away an invisible tear. When I hung up, he mimed offering me an invisible handkerchief. They can only wait 10 minutes, I said out loud, more to myself than to him. 7 years of preparing for this opportunity, gone because of a power outage. The mime held up an invisible watch, tapped it, then did an elaborate shrug that somehow conveyed, time is but an illusion. Then he sat down cross-legged on the floor and started an invisible tea ceremony. I tried calling the building maintenance. No answer. Texted my friend who worked in elevator repair. Nothing. Meanwhile, this mime was now pretending to pour tea into invisible cups, holding one out to me with raised eyebrows. Dude, I know you're committed to the bit, but I'm having a legitimate crisis here. Can you just be normal for like 5 seconds? He responded by standing up and miming being trapped in a box, complete with feeling the walls and looking panicked. Then he sat back down and resumed his tea ceremony, patting the floor next to him. Something about the absurdity of it all made me crack. Here I was, watching my career dreams evaporate while a grown man in face paint refused to acknowledge reality. I laughed, not a happy laugh, more like the laugh of someone whose sanity was fraying at the edges. I sat down across from him and pretended to accept the invisible tea. He clapped silently, then mimed, adding sugar and stirring. We sat there, two adults having an imaginary tea party in a broken elevator, while my professional future flatlined. That's when I noticed his bag, a real, non-invisible messenger bag with Champlin Theater Company embroidered on it. Inside, poking out, were what looked like resumes. The same company logo I recognized from the building directory, the same 15th floor where my interview was supposed to be. This mime was probably headed to an audition. I pointed at his bag, then at myself, then up at the floors above us. His eyes widened behind the white paint. He quickly mimed shock, then understanding, then camaraderie. He stood up and mimed rolling up his sleeves like we were going to fight this elevator together. For the next 10 minutes, he performed an increasingly elaborate show. He juggled invisible balls, walked against the wind, got stuck behind different-sized invisible walls. At one point, he mimed lassoing the emergency button and trying to pull the elevator up. Despite everything, I actually started laughing. Real laughter this time. When the elevator finally started moving, he mimed a massive celebration, complete with invisible fireworks. As we approached the 15th floor, he suddenly broke character just long enough to whisper, "Kill it up there," before the doors opened and he walked out, immediately back in mime mode. My interview was on 23rd. They were still waiting when I arrived, 12 minutes late but oddly calm. When they asked about the delay, I told them about the elevator, the mime, the fake tea party. Instead of being annoyed, the marketing director laughed. "You maintained composure and found humor in a stressful situation," she said. "That's exactly the kind of adaptability we need." I got the job. 2 weeks later, I was grabbing coffee in the building lobby when I saw a poster for the Champlain Theater Company's new show. There he was, the mime, real name Andrew Chen, starring in something called Trapped, a silent commentary on modern life. I went to the show. He was brilliant. During the curtain call, we made eye contact, and he gave me the same exaggerated tip of his invisible hat. After the show, I found him outside, face paint half removed. "Thanks for the elevator performance," I said. It weirdly helped. He smiled, his real smile, not the painted one. I didn't get the commercial audition that day. Director said I was too committed to physical comedy for a speaking role. "Their loss," I said. "Your show was incredible. Thanks. Hey, how'd your thing go? The one you were stressed about?" "Got the job. Told them about our tea party." He laughed, then caught himself and mimed, zipping his lips shut, winking before walking away. I still work in that building. Sometimes I see Andrew around. He teaches mime classes on the 15th floor now. We've never spoken again, but whenever we pass in the elevator, he'll mime pouring tea, and I'll mime drinking it. Last month, I was in the elevator when it broke down again. A woman inside started panicking about missing her interview. I sat down on the floor and mimed pouring her a cup of tea. She looked at me like I was insane, but she sat down.